Hey. Good afternoon, good evening, good night, and good morning, depending on where in the world you are watching the show. How are you guys? I'm hoping that you guys have had another fantastic couple of weeks, and that you're all staying nice and safe. Hello there from Leicester and Kansas and Bristol and everywhere else that you guys have tuned in from. We really appreciate you being here with us.
Yes, we are here.
We are, and hello to people on Facebook too. We're trying to keep on top of the chat on their chat from Mexico.
Hi, Scotland.
Yeah, from Bonnie, Scotland. If you haven't seen, I don't know if I even put that new picture up. I need to do that under
What?
there. I know. It's shocking, right?
How bad's that?
It's because I just changed it. I wasn't going to change
Do
it.
you know I
and then
didn't include in today's show?
Right on the end of there.
Forgot.
On there.
Our announcement. Not that we have an announcement, but it's a... Ah, I should have put it back in.
I know. So we...
What came up there? Did I see something there?
Nothing to see. Nothing to see, Dom. Nothing to see. We hope that you guys have had a couple of weeks. Hello, South Africa as well.
We've been having fun in the Q Corner studio today.
We have. We've been... Did you do some hearts up there as well?
I did. The bit that I did think I saw that I didn't see.
Oh, okay. But you didn't, no.
Yeah, we were feeling a bit tired because we've had a busy old week.
Yeah.
So I felt I needed to encourage Keith to wake up a little bit because he kept yawning and bringing me down.
Is that what it was? It's been crazy at the moment,
I'd love
right?
to share the video.
Yeah, no. Don't frighten me, okay? And I may have said some bad words.
It's not PG.
It's certainly not. So we won't be sharing that video, although we will be sharing you a couple of videos of some stuff that we've been doing today.
True.
Which we've been doing. We've been thinking about Christmas designs with Christmas coming up. And
yeah.
we
How many
also...
weeks? It's like no weeks.
5.
Oh my goodness. Who's ready for Christmas? Because I'm not.
5 weeks. So what we did was we had... actually, get rid of that and that. I just realised because I can't see anything anymore. We do a lot of personalisation, right? We're well known for the amount of personalisation that we do, along with the Silhouette Cameo machine. So what we've done is we've been using the Silhouette Cameo machine to do a little bit of personalisation with Holley leaves.
We have, yeah. We've been playing around because we did actually upgrade our software recently.
Yes.
Because we traditionally used the the bundled in version that you get with it, but there is an option to upgrade it for a small fee, and we thought we'd give it a go and see what extra features there were in there that were usable. And I have to say, it was a very good option to upgrade.
It is, yeah, it is. And the thing is there's a couple of different options, isn't there? And the thing is as well, is what we want to know is, because we teach a lot of people using the basic free software.
Yeah.
So we were thinking, are we going to have one version of the software on one computer, another version on the other?
Yeah.
The thing is actually no. Sometimes you want to just simplify using the software, and you can do it with just a click of a button.
You can. I mean, any file that you save in the little bit more advanced software is openable in the original version of the software, which is pretty cool. So if anybody creates something in the kind of the higher up version, it's still usable by everybody. But also, if you want to demonstrate with the set features that are available, you can just select what version you want to show as well. So very, very impressed with that, and really impressed with some of the little features that are
there's a little weeding feature, automatic weeding feature, where you click it and it just puts weeding lines around, like in between.
And we always put weed lines anyway.
Yes.
But we do them ourselves. But
this one's an automatic.
I like
really clever. So what we thought we'd do is we'll show you basically we'll show you a video on applying some transfer to Qualatex Chrome Gold Foil.
Oh, not the chrome.
Yeah, and then what we'll do is after that is we'll go back and we'll talk about how we got the image itself. Also, good news for you guys is that we're going to provide all of the files for you. We're going to upload them to the Qualatex Facebook page and our Facebook group, and you'll be able to download them there free. So we'll upload the Silhouette Cameo file all ready to cut and everything, and also the Merry Christmas text.
Yes, because I think a lot of people's issues sometimes when they see some of the items that we've made in the past is where do we get that raw image from, and where's that original file come from? You know, they've searched the store, the library where you can buy designs. Unfortunately, that library from Silhouette is not really suitable for us in our world. It's not designed.
There's some bits and pieces you can take it, but the general, most of the stuff is not for us. Right?
It's for the crafting industry, and it's fantastic. But for us, there's sort of specific requirements that we need for using it for vinyl, and that's not the best route. So we go a different route, and we make a lot of our own, and we'll show you
images, and then we save them into our own library, and then it means that we put the keywords in there, and staff can come back and use them time and time again. So we're going to share that file with you guys later on the Facebook group. But also, I can see somebody else has just turned up there with it on. We have just launched the new Facebook frame. Now, if I click on the right one, we should have this. Yes. So this has just been launched within the last hour or so.
Which people put them up before you'd even finished putting yours up.
I know. It's just been launched within the last hour or so, and what it is that, of course, for those that have been watching, you understand that if we get to 50,000 subscribers by the 1st of January, we're going to do 5 days of the the Q Corner Convention 2021.
Throw our hashtag up there as well, which is hashtag Q Corner 50K. So any pictures, any kind of bits and pieces that you're doing, talking about, trying to kind of get the activity going for it, put that hashtag on there.
Yeah, and what I did was, as well as those people astute of you will have noticed that I flicked it up onto there before. We've already got a few people that are using the frames already. Not just me and Dom, but we've got a few people. So get in there and use the frame, but you can only use it, you're only allowed to use it if you're subscribed on YouTube, because we need to get that YouTube subscription to 50K in order to do the full 5 days of education in March next year.
Yeah, so we'll check if you've got it on there and it says you're a subscriber. We check our subscriber list.
We do.
It's a fine.
So thank you to everybody that's used it so far on Facebook, and thank you to all of those that are planning to as well. We can get that off there. So, there we go. Subscribed. We want to do that and get the bell on as well for the notification.
You'll notice that the volume's down on that bell a little bit.
Dom's turned the volume down. Ruined my fun. Ruined my fun. Right, so what we're going to do is we're going to share this video of applying some vinyl to Qualatex Chrome 18-inch circle foil.
Yes.
Okay. So what we'll do is, we're just going to leave it on here. We're not going to put the full screen on. Yeah. So we'll have it on here.
On the back screen. We'll drink our tea while it's on.
Absolutely. I need to lock that in there, and then I need
Brendan's all set up for his alerts. Good job.
Good job. Okay, here we go. So, did I pick the right video? Yes, I did. Excellent.
We've already cut these.
You're going to talk through this one, Dom?
Yeah. We've cut them and we're just going to weed them out. So that's going to remove all the excess vinyl that we don't need. When you weed it like that, sometimes bits are left in the middle, and that's why we use that tool, that prick tool. It has a very fine point on it, so we can pull out any excess that's hiding in the middle. So we've got 3 different colours. We've got the green, the black, and the red. So we're just going to work through the 3 of those. You'll notice on these as well, there's a cross on each of the images.
Actually, I'm going to pause that.
Go for it.
I am, because we've got a new thing. I love this. So, look, Mr. Q is going to
He's
help us with the point. Mr.
What's
Q,
the point? Look at that.
Look at this. Fantastic. Mr. Q's pointing. See these crosses here?
Can we have some thumbs up, please, in the chat if you think Mr. Q's hand should stay a regular feature?
Yeah, it's a new pointer. So here, and here, and then actually what we'll do is, Mr. Q, you just pause your hand there a moment, and we'll go back to playing this for a little bit.
Alfred's added the frame. Good job.
Thank you. People, we're liking the thumbs up already. Right, yeah. So
Good.
as you can see, one second, Mr. Q,
He's
that's
really
ruined already. Okay, so we have these crosses here and here and here. Actually, we need something else to help us, because I can't quite see that. So I'm going to bring this in. And this here. Look, Mr. Q's really helping us with his magnifying glass.
I don't know if lockdown's helping us.
I think it is. I love this. I love technology.
So yes, each of those 3 colours, which makes it this 3 parts of this image for the Holley, has the registration marks on each of those, and they're going to help us line up.
Yes, which you'll see in a minute. 1 second, I'm just going to get rid of Mr. Q. Get your hand out of the way. Okay,
now you can manually line everything up.
Are you okay, Mr. Q? Yeah, okay, that's fine.
Yeah, you can line these up yourself if you want, but sometimes images are very fine and you want to make sure that you get it right, and sometimes there's some images that are really hard to line up, and that's why we use the registration marks. We're not saying that you always have to use them, but we're using this technique here so you can see how we use it, because it's a good one to display how we do this.
Yeah, somebody's asked there about the about to buy a vinyl printer. Any advice on the model? We always recommend the Silhouette Cameo. The reason being is it does what we want it to do, and also there is a lot of support. It's actually just
pause that for a second.
Yeah, there's a lot of support out there. A lot of people within the balloon industry are already using it.
It's not saying that one brand is better than another brand.
Yeah.
The few that are out there, there's people talk about
cheers, guys,
a few different brands, and we're not saying that they're not good or even better. What we're saying is there's a bigger audience that already currently uses the Silhouette Cameo, so there's more help. There's more people with files to share.
Yes.
There's more people, at the end of a Facebook Messenger or part of the group that's going to be able to give you that information. So that's why we recommend that one. Hand on heart, that's the one we would solidly recommend.
If you do want to have a little look, they're a little bit older now, but you can go to the playlist on our YouTube channel. That's youtube.com/QCornerShow. Look for the playlist Silhouette Cameo, and we've got lots of different videos about setting up the machine and doing bits and pieces with it as well. So
it's a quick start,
and you'll see why
well,
and the types of material that we use, which is another important thing.
Yes. So now what we're doing is we're picking up one of the layers of the colours to build this picture. We start with the top colour. If you can imagine, we've got our different colours that are going to build this picture up. The black is at the back because that's kind of the background colour, and then the green and the red are going to go on top of that. So it doesn't actually matter if we pick the green or the red up first, but look at the image and look how it's layered up and decide which is your top colour and work your way down. So we pick the green up first.
So also people ask us about the transfer tape that we use. We use a reusable plastic one. There are different, much cheaper versions available, like the what's it called?
It's like a masking tape.
Like a mask, yeah.
It's like a painter's decorator's
but it's a
tape.
low tack tape, is what it is.
Any of them are fine, but we find the transparent one the most effective, especially when you do an alignment like this. And we get many uses out of this. You know, we're talking 30, 40 transfers before it becomes kind of too kind of unsticky, if you like.
Yeah, loses all of the tack.
Yeah.
The thing is that we say that it has to have a minimum of 10 uses. That's what we charge into the job when we're doing our materials. However,
typically we
get a lot more than
that.
Okay, so Dom's done it onto the green, and he's turned it over, peeling off the backing paper, and left the green onto the transfer tape.
We also are aware that the black Holley leaves does look like a Batman logo. It's cool.
So I'm just going to pause that there. And
here we go, bring it in.
I know I'm going to have to. I need that there. Right. So
no, you need to zoom in.
Oh, sorry. 1 second. Mr. Q, can you give us a magnifying glass?
There it is.
Here it is. Okay.
He does a good job, Mr. Q, you know.
He does. He's very helpful. He's very handy.
Yeah.
So the cross is there. You've got the vertical and the horizontal so that they can line up perfectly onto each other, so that we know that if we tilt it like this, the cross would be off.
Yeah, a lot of people in the past that we've seen use registration marks will use a dot.
Well, yeah, a circle.
Yeah.
And you're like, well,
now, a dot will align. You'll get it up and down, left and right. Perfect. But what you won't get is the orientation, the rotation, the angle.
Because a circle on top of a circle is exactly the same.
Yeah. So that's
we
why
like to use a cross. Yeah, so that it means that you do this.
And just as you're bringing it in, it's very easy to see if you're going to get it right. Now, on this particular image, we've used 3 crosses. And the reason for that is because we can fit them in.
So there's 1, 2, and 3.
Now, we might use 1 or we might use 2. But sometimes when you weed it, you might lose a cross. So it gives you kind of a second, a plan B, if you like. But depending on how the vinyl goes on, depending on how the curl is, sometimes I'm going to do it from the top, sometimes I'm going to do it from the bottom, and sometimes between different colleagues in our business, the preference or easier for one person versus another is to go from the bottom or from the top.
Yeah, and it's like, so I'm left-handed, right? So sometimes it's easier for me to go from a certain direction compared to the opposite.
So by having a couple on there, saved with the design, it means that it's going to work perfect for everybody.
Okay, so let's continue on. So what Dom's done is he's taken the green and he's put it on top of the red, and he's lined up them crosses so that we know that those dots, the berries themselves, are going to be exactly where we want them.
I don't need to look at the berries, I'm just looking at the cross. Good job.
Good job indeed. I've not got any music in the background.
You have, but I didn't turn it on though. So you want music?
It's there. So now what he's done is he's picked up the green and the red, and he's just going to apply it the 3rd time onto the black, so that all 3 layers are going to be.
We always do this as well. We always turn it over and then pull the backing away from it. It tends to release much better. Now it's going onto the black. But what we're doing now, though, once this has been adhered, if we were putting it straight on the balloon, we'd turn it over and remove the backing. Yeah, that's normal. However, if you want to do these in advance, which is quite a common thing, we're leaving it face up as it is, and we're removing the application tape away from it. So it's leaving it on the backing tape. Yeah. It's like a sticker.
Yeah, it makes it exactly like a sticker. So it means if you wanted to, you could then just peel it straight off and then apply it as we'll continue on through the video here.
I'm not worrying about the
registration marks.
Thank you.
They can come off with the backing paper.
Yeah.
But now that's a sticker.
Yeah, and that'll sit like that forever.
Yeah, so it means that now, if we wanted to, we can have a load of these done in advance, and as we're going to decorate our balloons, we can just pull them off and actually apply them as a sticker rather than all the individual pieces.
If you allow it to come off the backing paper with the adhesive, it won't go back onto the backing paper again. Not very well. It'll sit there, but it'll probably fall off, and that's what it's designed to do. So you really want to make sure that it doesn't lift up.
Like olives on a sandwich.
Olives on a sandwich. It's a story for another day.
Right, okay. So that is our Holley leaves. We're also going to reuse the backing paper. That's why Dom at the moment has taken off the registration marks. We're going to have the backing paper, and we're going to add the text, Merry Christmas.
If they stay with the sticker, that's fine. You can pick them off the backing paper as well. It makes no difference. It's just that they came off. It came up really easily. So these ones don't have registration marks. And the reason for that is we're just doing it as a subtle offset.
Yeah.
Okay?
We've picked a nice font that we can do the Merry Christmas. Now, it's very important that you're careful with what fonts you choose, especially if you pick a Christmas font, because you can't always do all the messages.
Yeah, often there's little embellishments. Now, sometimes...
Well, also, it's not just that dumb as that. On the Christmas ones, there's Noel. It's Noel. Can't do it, can you? There's Noel.
We really should start having rehearsals, then we can... Anyway...
Noel!
We picked a font that didn't have any extra embellishments and did have an L. And when we've typed it, we've used the weld function, because you'll often get with the script writing some overlaps, and then they'll cut out and be a real pain when you're weeding it. You'll have lots of little separations of the text. So make sure you weld it prior to cutting it. So we've cut 2 versions of it, one in red, one in black. And now what we're going to do is align the black on top of the red, but we're actually going to do it so it doesn't line up perfectly.
People seem to like my joke.
No, it's pity. Oh, there's Reese's mum.
There's Reese's mum as well. Thanks, Reese's mum. So on this one, what we're doing is we're using 2 colours, but we don't want it to line up perfectly. We're actually going to create what we call a drop shadow, and that is we have our text, and then we put the other one slightly off so that you get a little bit of the colour from behind and the main colour in front.
Now, we've shared this before, and there's different ways of doing it. There's the offset tool to make a bleed around it, and that's really good for certain types of writing. But typically for us in our business, for quickness, it's easy just to recut the job. You can even do it straight from the machine. Just change the colour out and press repeat job.
Repeat job.
And it's identical. Repeat job. It's identical, and just doing the subtle little drop shadow on it gives it a really nice standout. Sometimes it helps with the colour, as in it's sitting on a certain background and you want to kind of help it pop. So we'll do that a lot. We'll often have a black or a white outline just to help the colour stand out more. It's just a thing that we do a lot of, and our customers really
it makes
appreciate
it look that's just a little bit more luxurious without really adding any cost onto the job.
Yes.
So what we're doing there is he's offsetting it, so he's just stepping it off to create that shadow. So it's mainly black text with a little bit of red drop shadow on there. Making sure that it's fully down, and then he's going to flip it over because he wants to keep it on the back of material.
Yeah, this time it's going to go straight onto the balloon.
And we're going to use our balloon, which is a chrome gold 18-inch round. Beautiful.
Good job. I'm watching myself there thinking,
I know.
That's a nice looking balloon.
It is. I love the finish on the chrome oils. They're really nice. Goes perfectly with the
we did
chrome
actually
latex
get
as well.
We did actually get a gold out to start with, a metallic gold. I went, why are we not using chrome?
Yeah. So we changed it up, and it looked a lot better as well, because the gold can sometimes be a bit really gold, where this is more like an antique gold, like a burnished gold. I really like that.
Going nice and slow on this one, because you don't want to pull up any of those script parts on there as well. It's also where we're doing this, it's particularly cold, so it takes a little bit longer for the vinyl to adhere to that balloon. Yeah. So sometimes you can add a little bit more heat in with the end of your fingers, or if you just roll it back carefully, it will stick to it. Then once it's been on there a couple of minutes, it's there for good.
Okay, he's giving it a rub over there as well to get it stick, and then we're going to do the Holley. Now we could just peel it off and put it straight on there, but what he's going to do is, because he's going to have it perfect, just go straight onto that back material. And then
also
you can
because
place
we're
it.
filming it as well, and what tends to happen is if you're filming it, it's going to stick together.
Yeah. So it's on there. Put it on.
We take our Batman logo.
It's for Batman. It's Holley. And there we go. Our very own little Merry Christmas for you.
There we go.
I'm going to get rid of that. So do we like that? In fact, Dom, you've got it right there.
I have. I kept brought it in.
So here we go with just being turned into a little mini base. I'll hold it there if you want. And then
the one thing you have to watch out for when you're creating like a larger sticker like that is making sure that it's not too close to the very curved part of the balloon, but you want to make sure that it follows the contours. We have done it before where it was actually a custom logo for a company. So we did many layers, but it was in a bigger sticker.
Yeah.
And that doesn't tend to want to follow the shape of the balloon when it's inflated. So for that one, what we would do is we would lay the balloon down uninflated and apply it flat, because this foil, although it has the curve in it, is still a flat balloon. It's not being stretched in any way. No. So if you apply that flat sticker will then follow the contours. Just be aware though, that needs to be airfill only really, because it's going to add a lot of weight.
Now what we could do with this as well, because we've still got this space up here, is move the whole design up a bit, and then that leaves plenty of room for a name. So if you're going to personalise the design, we can have Merry Christmas and then a name on there as well for your customers, and make it all more personal and more sellable in that way.
What we did one year as well, we actually had a really nice design that took a little bit of time to create. So we did it and did the full thing, but just leaving the customer's name and who the gift was for from it, and we added that as they paid for it and went out the store. So I mean, all that pre-work was done. Yeah. So you can kind of, if you have got a busy store, you can have things built and ready and just leave it ready for the last little part of the name to do. So have a file ready to go, which is the right sized font that would work, and that'll work. Someone say there.
Can we share the format for the Cricut, if possible? Unfortunately, we don't have the Cricut software, and we're not used to it in any way. So
we do have the files that we've used to create it. So we've got the images. We've got
the original PNGs.
Image. So if you're capable of using that to bring into that software that you use for that, we've got the same shapes. We've got them as separate elements and as a combined picture as well. So we kind of preempted that someone would probably ask for that. So we've done our best with that.
Yeah.
And by all means, if you are successful at that, share it back in the group as well. Because I'm sure
feel free. People, if somebody wants to convert it to the Cricut, you can share it back in the Facebook. In the Qualatex Facebook group, and share it with everybody else to use.
Yes.
So what we did is we took that design,
we did
the Holley and the Merry Christmas, and then what we did is we kind of supersized it a bit. What can we use it in for a bubble?
Gotta love the bubbles.
Yes. So what we did was we took the Elegant Greenery bubble. Here we go. Ta-da. And we took the idea, because the Elegant Greenery bubble uses Holley. Ivy. So you get the holly and the ivy, right?
Don't break out the song.
The holly and the ivy. Okay, fair enough. So the idea of this is that it could be a wreath that goes all the way around. We took the idea of this Elegant Greenery into a Christmas wreath. And we've added holly to a few different areas to make it into that idea of a wreath. Now we could add in baubles. You could cut your own baubles and things around to increase that idea of the wreath, and even some LED lights around the outside to have it going on in that way. And it's a whole idea, like I say, it's taking a bubble that's non-Christmassy and turning it into a Christmas.
And it also saves a lot of work for us as well. We're happy to personalize things and do a lot of vinyl for it, but by just adding a little bit, the bubble's already given us the majority of what we need. So we're just finishing it off to stylize it for the season that we want as well. So these can be pre-cut, ready to go. We've got the Merry Christmas. You can change the size of these. You can make it big. You make it, nice and scripty. You can do what you want, and that's what's great about it.
Yeah, and again, we've done the shadow text. This time we've done white instead of the black, with the red still behind, just to create that drop shadow. And we've done the holly leaves using the 9-inch.
9-inch stars,
emerald green stars.
So one thing, just to kind of a tip on this one as well, is it doesn't matter which way you go. We just kind of push it to one angle. We tend to go like in a 45-degree angle one way. It doesn't matter which way your shadow is, except for you need to do it the same way for any text elements that are on the same bubble. You don't want this red coming down underneath to the left, and then up here it goes to the right. It's gonna look a little bit odd. So always make sure you go the same way for each of it as well. And it can be just very little bit subtle, or you can do it a lot. But again, try to keep it consistent on your design.
To make these the holly leaves from the stars, what we've got is we've done another video. So I'll just throw this down here for the moment. Put this down there, and then we can do this one here. So this is how to make the holly leaf that we've added to the front with the balloons.
Great technique. I don't even know how old this technique is.
I think it originated because Qualatex actually used to produce them Holley leaves, and then they discontinued them, and then we did it this way. So we take a 9-inch star and putting it inside of a heat sealer, the foil heat sealer.
Standard heat setting on your heat sealer, whatever your setting is normally for sealing the air-filled foils, run with that as your setting. Normally somewhere between 2 and 3 on most heat sealers.
Yeah, and what it is that the heat sealer, as you can see on here, it's not all the way down. Now, come on, where are you, Mr. Q?
Try and get it in the middle at the top, and then you want to get it...
So it's sealed from about here all the way to the end of there. But
you want to keep it away from the top of the valve, so it gives enough space to allow the air to come out the valve and go into both of the new chambers now, so each side.
Yeah, so we miss this bit here, and then it just comes down here. So what it does is, when it's inflated, it holds it and creates that idea of the Holley leaf. And now, like Dom said, this technique's been around forever. Can't remember where we learned it from, but it's...
I'm sure it was on one of the original Qualatex instruction sheets.
Was it? I know it was forever, but we've been doing this forever, and we've seen a lot of people do it as well. It's a really nice technique.
It is a nice little touch.
Yeah. So we need this one, and we put back on here. You can see how we left the gap, and then I'm going to move that out of the way.
Look at that, he's tidying up as he goes.
I know.
Video evidence of that.
And then we're going to gently inflate with air. Now, it's actually better to use the little pocket pumps if you're going to do this rather than the hand inflator. It moves a lot of air. The pocket pump's a lot more delicate for this.
Yeah, you've got more precise control.
Yeah. But then once you're done, you're going to seal it in your normal way. And you can see the inflation there. You can see how it's formed into 2 separate chambers to create that leaf.
Try to keep that pressure on. If you need some tips on doing air filled, check out Sue Bowler's Very Best Balloon blog. There's a great article on there, and there's a link to a video, I think, as well, that Sue did, which is excellent.
On how she heat seals foils.
So just Google search the Very Best Balloon blog, have a look on there, and there's a search kind of bar at the middle of the page, halfway down, I think.
As you can see, you saw how I did that one. On the first one, I did the standard push down, push down, and the second time I did the draw through. It's whatever one you find is...
The guy who I saw do it the very best, who amazed me, was Say.
In Japan, when it was the machine and it did the whole thing.
Oh, well, there's that. No. Said, is how he's saying it? Said. It was the WBC 2012.
Okay. Yes, I remember. It was against the far wall. We were working to the right hand side.
I can't remember his name. But S-A-I-D. Said. I don't know. Whatever he goes. He was a heat seal god.
He was. He was.
I can't remember his surname. I'll have to look. Thank you for that post there for Saeed. Yeah. He was amazing. He was like better than the machine.
So what we've got is we've got our 2 9-inch foils that we've inflated, and you'd not want to overinflate these. Yeah, underinflate them rather than overinflate them. Better to be a little bit softer than.
One of the things that you can do if it is slightly soft and you've let a little bit of air out and it's got a little bit soft, as you tie it together and then when you're going to put the berries in, as it brings it together, it's going to kind of squeeze a little bit of pressure on the 2 foils anyway. So that normally fixes any imperfections in the inflation anyway. So it's better to be, as Keith said, slightly soft.
We have our 2 foils that are tied together. Then we're going to take 3 Qualatex 5-inch red.
Or a bag of reindeer noses, you would often refer to them.
Yeah, clown noses. And then inflate with 1 stroke and then let it down a little bit. If you're going to do a sizing box, you're going to be about 2 inches. Is
that why you say you're not going to use it? Let them down.
Yes, it's a bit of a letdown. And then tie them together, making sure that they get to almost identical.
They don't need to be exactly the same size. These are berries on Holley leaves, remember?
Yes. However, get them close and that's fine. And then we end up with 3 that are almost identical. But if you want a size, about 2 inches. Tie the 3 of them together, and then you're just going to wrap it into our 2 leaves and position them so that the 3 berries are at the front, the 2 leaves are towards the back. And then that gives us...
There's that extra bit of pressure being applied there now. As it goes through, you can choose to tighten those up around it or not. Just depends on how well you've heat sealed those 2 foils.
Yep, and that is it. It's as easy as that. time on the Twin Air. It's going to be about 0.1, possibly 0.1 or 0.2 on the Twin Air, depending on your machine and what your electricity supply is.
Yes.
0.1 is probably a little bit small, so probably
it also depends on which nozzles you use as well.
Yeah.
So don't forget, if you're having a little bit of trouble getting an exact size with a setting, if it's between 0.1 and 0.2, sometimes you can switch the nozzles out. So if you're on your standard 5-inch nozzles, switch to
your
the
260
nozzle on 0.2. It's going to restrict the airflow ever so slightly.
Make them
so
very
actually, it's
slightly
somewhere
smaller.
between the two as well. So don't be afraid to play around with those nozzles a little bit to get the sizes that you want.
Yeah, absolutely.
That was a good thing.
That is that for that. So
Yeah.
we
love those
over
techniques.
time. But what we're going to do is, if you guys, we understand that we've gone over
If
time
you need to go,
anyway, but if we love doing
that's not
personalisation,
half a cup of tea.
I don't. So what we're going to do is, if you guys are happy to hang around, what we're going to do is we're going to go through the software side just quickly, because we do have other videos out there to help. But
We'll
basically,
just specifically the one we've done here,
Yeah.
where what we did and why and how we did it. And
so what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch Dom's computer onto them, just making sure that it is clean. Okay, that is. So that means I can switch that
YouTube on. I'm just catching up some episodes
to the back screen so that you guys can see exactly what's happening on Dom's screen right now.
So we've got our Silhouette Studio software open, and we've got an image in here. This image is a piece of clip art from a download that we purchased, and it's just some Christmas clip art. It's nothing exceptional. They're just reasonable quality clip art images.
Mm-hmm.
It's an often the thing that we'll do. We'll buy, and it doesn't cost very much at all because it's just images. It's a mix for the season. So he's pointing in my ear. I know he is because I can tell by the smile on his face.
I know, I'm looking over
knew it was
there.
coming.
It's not me, it's Mr. Q. I'm not even doing anything. I'm just
Now,
sat here.
This particular software that I'm showing on now is the basic package, the normal one, but actually the upgraded plan of the Silhouette Studio software has the ability to bring in more versions of image types.
Image types that can bring in PDFs, PNGs,
which is great.
and some vector types.
Now, PNGs are great because if you bring them in, what it does is it can actually see the outline and you don't need to trace it.
Yes,
so it's fantastic.
same with the vectored files. It just automatically does it. It knows where the edges are and it can cut it straight away.
So it takes so many steps out. But we're going to go the route that most people will be going because it'll be the version that they have.
Other thing as well, which is really handy, is when you come to do the trace on the higher version.
Oh yeah,
it's one of the really nice features. You can actually
probably one of the best features.
If you're still pulling apart like a JPEG to do it, you can actually trace by color.
We've done this image already because we've made this, and this one works without that option.
Yes.
But it was one of the anticipations of will it or won't it, because we've got some distinct different colours in here, so we weren't sure if it would work on the standard version. So it does, which is great. However, the next version, as Keith's saying, the colour option is fantastic. So I've got my image here, and I'm going to go to the panel at the right hand side, and I'm going to select the trace window. So I'm going to select trace area. I'm going to highlight the object that I want to trace over. As you can see, it's coloured it all in. And if I was to go ahead and trace this, I would get the very outline of the image, which is not what we need. We need all the separate elements.
Mr. Q's been very helpful in showing you the outline.
Very good. So we're going to use some
what
of the
long
tools.
arms you've got, Mr. Q.
I know.
All the better for pointing things out.
There are different filters that we can use, but the threshold one is the one we want to use here. And as we move it, you can see how it adjusts the yellow fill. If I go too far, it'll disappear. But as I bring it back in, what it's actually seeing is the black. So it's highlighted the black part of this image.
Which is, for this design, is pretty much perfect.
I'm just going to move the trace window away. So the black is what it's seeing. And fortunately, the black goes around every part of this and it kind of encompasses all of the different colours. That's great. So if we can trace that black, we'll get all the other elements that we want. So that's brilliant on this particular one. Now, on the other software, we can actually choose to trace by colour, and we can actually do a swatch of the green, swatch of the red, and pick it out even better. We're lucky today, though, because it's worked for us first time. So we're now going to go and select trace, which is the top one of the trace style. So I'm going to hit trace.
Oh, sorry, it's only small, so you need to see it. These ones. He's over here.
That's where I am.
I'm trying to help.
Trace. Now, it doesn't look like anything's happened except for the yellows disappeared. But if I select on this image and move it out of the way, you can see now that we have the red outline.
Now I'm just going to have a look on the screen and see if they can indeed see the red outline when it goes under there. Yes, you can see the red outline.
Great.
Excellent.
So now we have a cut file, if you like. So if we sent this to the machine to cut, it would cut each and every one of these lines, which is fantastic.
It is.
However, we need to cut them out individually for the different colours that we want.
So if you remember back to the video, we had the black, which is the background, we had the green and the red separate. So we need to cut them separately.
So what we're going to do first of all is, often the more complicated this image is, we'll sometimes make a duplicate. So at this stage, we'll often take a copy of this and paste it. And that just gives us, that's the wrong one.
Undo. Control Z.
Oh, the wrong keyboard key. All day. All day.
So if you didn't know, Q Corner is run by multiple computers to send us out. And what happens is sometimes we have a computer and it's not connected to the same computer that we do in there. So this keyboard here, is connected to a computer that's over there. And he's trying to use it.
Many times I've been typing, wondering why nothing's typing.
They can't even see the computer. So
yeah.
But he has two computers.
So
two keyboards.
I create a copy of what we've traced and just put it to one side. That's my backup. That's my reserve, just in case something goes wrong. Okay, so it means we don't have to go through that trace process again. So we've got that. So on this image, this outline image, I'm going to use my right mouse button and I'm going to go down to release compound.
Debbie and Julie are laughing at you, Tom. Actually, a lot of people are. But
is that Debbie McGill?
It is.
Debbie McGill. Boom, boom, boom.
Debbie McGill.
I do have a button to turn the keyboard over as well.
I know.
If only I'd done that. Release compound path separates all of those elements in that cut file now. So where I could move this before in one piece, as I grab a hold of something, everything is moving separately. Okay?
So the thing is that if you start moving things around at this point, it's going to be very hard to piece it all back together. Yeah. So what we need to do is we need to figure out a way of being able to keep the bits that are going to be green together, the bits that are red together, and the bits that are going to be black together. So what we're going to do is, before we start moving everything around, we want to use colours to kind of group everything.
Yeah, to identify.
Identify, I think. Yeah.
So the easy one to start with is the red berries here. So I'm going to select.
I'm going to have to show you with Mr. Q's hand. Yeah,
two,
so he's doing the 1, 2,
I'm going to move that image because it's at an angle.
Yeah, get that image out of the way, Dom.
Let me escape. I'm going to press Command Z or Control Z to undo because I moved that image by accident. Let me move that out of the way. So I'm going to pick these 3 and select all 3 of those berries. I'm holding down the Shift key so I can pick up all 3.
1 second, we need to zoom in on that section, Dom. So I'm going to get Mr. Q, who's going to bring it. There we go.
I've got 1, 2, 3. Now, because these are red, I'm going to leave the outline red. Okay, that's okay. That works for us. But I'm going to go over to our colour window over here. So there's a colour palette. I'm going to select that and I'm going to choose red. So we filled those in red. It's a little bit more visual. It doesn't change how the software does anything with it, but it does allow us to be easier to work with. While I've got the 3 selected, I'm going to right click as well. I'm going to hit group. And what that does now is if I move one of them...
Can you just right click on there so you can say something, point it out onto the thing, Dom, just because it's
now
not
ungroup,
on there.
So there. And ungroup.
So here, yeah, there's 2 options, group and ungroup. Group means that we're just going to put them all together. So it means if you click on one and move it, it moves all 3, right? So it groups it together. Easier to work with.
There we go. Right, now the next section I'm going to do is this leaf part here, okay? I'm just going to undo, going to put it back to where it was. I'm going to select this one, press Shift, press this one. We've got a Siri running in the studio somewhere.
That's the iPad Pro over there.
So I've selected those 2, and there is actually a little element in the middle here as well, so I've selected that. So I've got those 3 parts. I am going to change the outline colour and the inside colour. So while I'm on the inside fill, I'm going to select green, and then I'm going to go to my line colour tool here, go into line colour and select green as well. While I've still got the 3 selected, right mouse click and select group.
Back to that group again here, yeah.
So I'm going to pull them out so you can see. So those 3 items are locked together and marked as green. I'm going to just undo, which drops that back into place. One of the great things about this piece of software you can undo,
It's
back to when world began.
Yeah, exactly. Back to Adam and Eve, basically. It goes all the way back. Normally, a lot of software only have limited number of steps that you can undo, whereas with the Silhouette Studio software, it's brilliant.
Yeah.
You can undo all of Dom's mistakes.
Once you have saved it, though, all that is, and you've kind of closed it, that information's lost, which is why we'll always normally have our spare backup whilst we're constructing something like this. Last layer now is the back layer, the black, so I've selected that, so that's what this one here. I'm going to go onto my line style colour here because I've already got that selected and change that to black. Then I'm going to go to my infill colour and select black for that as well. I don't need to group anything on that one because it is already just one piece. Okay?
Because when Dom moves the berries and the leaves out the way, you'll see that it just leaves the Batman shape.
So I can pull the black out from behind.
Oh, there we go. The bat.
Okay. So that's great. So now, if we wanted to, let me move this out the way so you can see. One way we could cut this is if we go to our send screen. So this is where we're theoretically sending it to our machine. You can see at the moment it's got the red outline that's cutting everything.
So everywhere that you can see an edge, it will cut them. It doesn't matter that we've selected them, that we turned them to red, black or green. It's just going to cut everything.
It doesn't care. Now we have two choices here. We can actually use line or fill. It works just the same on this. We find the line's the easier one because that's one we're more... we use the most often. We just use the fill option to make it more visual. But what the line function does is it gives you the choice of being selective of how we cut this out. So without moving those elements separately, we can leave them as a stack combined, and we can choose to cut, let's say, just the berries. So now by selecting just that red line, you can see we have a red outline around the berries. We put red vinyl in the machine, we send it to cut, and that's the red berries done. Once we've done that, we can then put black vinyl into the machine, unselect the berries, and then select the outline. So you can see that is now illuminated up to say that it's going to cut round the edge of that black border. Once that one's done, we can do the same thing for the leaf section as well. So you can see we can be selective of which part of that image that we actually send to our machine. Now, that's great if we're going to manually line them up, but it doesn't give us the registration marks that we want to work with.
It means that you've got to pick them up and you've got to line up by eye just as it goes together. And if you remember, we go back to having those crosses which allow us to do a registration mark. So what we do is you don't standardly start off with a cross in the system, so we're going to make one very quickly.
So I've selected the drawing tool that's the square but with the rounded corners. The reason
now, 1 second, because I'm going to have to point that out because
quite small. Yeah. The reason we select more of the rounded corners
side
is because the cross is quite small. It's easier for the machine to cut a curved edge than it is going tight into a corner.
Yeah.
So it weeds a lot better for us. Okay. So I've selected that tool, and I'm going to make just a bar. Can you see that? Is that all right, or do we just
zoom in there, buddy?
Yeah, I can do that. I want to go zoom.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you can see there he's made a bar, and you can see because it's got the curved edges, it'll cut around them corners a lot better rather than being a very tight edge. I mean, the machine can cut the tight edges fine. It's just that it's a lot smoother if it can just go around the edge rather than going and then suddenly you have to change direction.
Exactly. So I'm going to take this one. I'm going to copy this element that we've just created. Okay, so right click, copy, and I'm going to paste it. So we now have two of them. I'm going to rotate one of them 90 degrees. So the little green dot at the top gives me the rotation tool. As I turn it, if I press the shift button, it snaps to that 90 degrees.
So if you just hold the shift button as you turn it, it literally will go in sections, and it will allow you to get it perfectly straight. Just remember to let go of your click before you let go of the shift.
So if I let go of the shift button, it moves.
See, I would just move just a little bit.
I'll put my shift button back on, let go of the mouse first. It'll stay, then I can let go. Okay, so that works really well. And then we're going to line those up so they are over the center. And the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to highlight the two objects, and there's an alignment tool. So
one second, I'm going to point over here. It's over on this side again, the alignment tool.
So we're going to select this one, and you've got various different tools we use frequently. And I'm just going to do the center one. So I'm going to center those two objects up, and they're just going to center over themselves.
So it gets the cross exactly in the middle. Yeah. It's not up or down or a bit over this side. It's exactly in the middle. just by clicking that button.
If this was to cut now, though, we'd have those extra lines in the middle, which we don't want. So again, we're going to select those two objects, right-click, and weld. And this will kind of glue them together.
Yeah.
Yep.
It gets rid of those extra lines in between. It becomes just one cross.
I'm going to go to my line colour. I'm going to pick a colour that we've not used already.
Let's do a nice blue.
Ooh, like a bit of blue. So that's great. And then just for visual, so you can see it better, I'm going to colour it in as well. Okay, so that gives us the cross. So we're going to zoom back out again. There we go. And we're just going to pop a couple of these into the design. So we're going to copy them and paste them. Now, it doesn't matter where they are. All we're looking at is making sure that they don't come out too far. So if we bring them out too far, we're just going to waste all that vinyl in between.
So you're having a cut where your design finishes. If your cross is down here, all of this is just wasted vinyl that you're going to cut. So try and keep it nice and tight, but don't be crazy, because if you do it too tight, it means it's going to be too awkward for to do it, which costs more time, which you lose money on that side. So you want to compromise in between.
Exactly. So we've got our registration marks in there. So the difference is now, when we go to send that to our machine, when we select a colour to send, so I'm going to go to my line colour, what we do is we always have that blue turned on and then a colour.
Yes.
So right now we can cut that holly leaf.
Oh, I got that magnifying glass again, 1 second.
And we're going to cut a registration mark. Yeah. Once we've cut that from the machine, we'll then take out the green, put in the black, but notice that we always have the same registration marks on. So they're going to cut in the same place on each of the elements that we cut out. So that means when we come to align them up, they're always going to line back up again with the original image, because they've stayed as a reference to that original image. So that's why we do them in a different colour, so they can be selected and left on all the way through that cutting process.
Just before you go any further as well, just want to point out, when we say have a look on here and down here, it actually says that it's cardstock plain. The reason being is this computer is not set up for balloon vinyl. If you want to know how to set up your computer for balloon vinyl, either you can, instead of having cardstock plain, you can just choose the matte vinyl option and go with that way, or you can watch one of our videos in the playlist, which shows you exactly how to set up balloon vinyl based on your equipment.
Absolutely. But select that line tool and then choose which one you want. Also as well, on the newer machine, when it's plugged into this as well, if you've got dual blade options, you've got the choice of cutting which cutting tool you use as well.
But again, have a look on there, because the video tutorials talk a little bit about that as well.
We are actually going to share with you, though, the image and also the finished file as well. So the file you have is the finished one, which is ready to go and be cut, but it's also got it here where it has multiple ones laid up with the Merry Christmas in there as well. So this one is a finished welded composition of the text, so you don't need this font installed. No. It will just cut out as it is. And
you can increase the size. If you just want to do Merry Christmas, you can increase the size or decrease it depending on what you want to use. It's absolutely fine. It's already vectored. We're not going to share the font with you, because what you need to do is, if you're going to use the font for commercial purposes, you need to pay for them. Just like people pay you for the balloons for professional service. Same thing with your fonts as well. So we're going to share this as an image, but it's just as that image.
Yes, but that's there, and that'll be able to download later on today from...
Hopefully later on today, possibly tomorrow. Very soon, but what we'll do is keep an eye on the Qualatex Facebook group, because we'll make a post about it, about the files being there as well.
Absolutely. So that'll be there for you to use, by all means. And we'd love to see your pictures of any finished designs using this Holley as well. So
what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of that, because we don't need this anymore, and we've run up to an hour. Of course we have. That's what we always do. And I just want to go back again to the Facebook frames, because this is important, right? We want to do a 5-day convention next year, and by January the 1st...
3 days.
By January the 1st, we need to get to... Yeah, if you want us to do a 5-day convention, we need to get to 50,000 subscribers. So please subscribe and change your Facebook.
Yes.
Use the frame and do it all there. Send out the message. Ask everybody that you know to subscribe to get those numbers up to there, and we should be able to get that 50,000
Yes,
no
because
problem.
we've got loads of people watching that are not subscribed as well. So anybody watching now, live or later on, you know, in the future,
Yes.
make sure you subscribe, okay? Because if you want the extra days for the convention, that's the only way we're going to do it.
We want, if you guys want us to do those 5 days, what is it, 120 hours again of almost
But someone kept
non-stop
messaging me
education.
saying 6.
Yeah, well, yeah. 5 days.
I did go back and say, for every extra 10,000,
yeah,
I'll do an extra day.
So what we're going to do is you're going to grab that one and go on that because we're going to say goodbye.
We're not saying Merry Christmas yet, though, are we?
No, not saying Merry Christmas.
Just
not quite
checking.
yet. But yeah, we hope you really enjoyed it. We will release the 2 videos separately of this application also how to create the Holley so that you don't have to just watch it on the screen there. You can watch it full-size screen there.
And send us a message if
you're
you
saying
want
that
to
you feel bad wanting you not to sleep for another 5 days, guys. Do not worry about us, okay? Honestly, it was an honour and a pleasure to be able to do it last time. If you guys really want us to do it again, absolutely, we will do that.
If you could just arrange another, several month lockdown afterwards, that'd be great.
Yeah, but no, don't you worry about that, okay? We've got a lot more time to plan for. Last time we only had 2.5 weeks to plan the whole thing. This time it's absolutely fine. So, yes.
Crazy. Yes.
We hope you enjoyed what you saw. We hope you like the idea.
Don't forget to like the actual
video as well.
If you want to see Mr. Q's arms make an appearance again.
Yes. We hope you like the idea of using the Elegant Greenery as a wreath instead of just the Elegant Greenery.
Yeah.
We hope you like that too.
We like that.
Yes, and the Holly leaf idea, we thought we'd bring that back.
Yes.
And it's time for us to say goodbye.
Yes. Bye
you guys stay nice and safe, all right? Look after each other, all right? And keep smiling.
See you next show.
Bye-bye.